What's up everybody? Today's review is on the Dewalt DCP580 brushless planer. Check out my Instagram and Patreon page, links in the description, and don't forget to like the video. So this is a brushless planer, and at the time of filming most cordless planers are still brushed. Brush doesn't bother me, but I know some people don't like brushed tools. So specs on this are, it's 18 volt of course, goes 15,000 RPMs, and you get 0 to 2 millimeters of depth, and you have, I believe it's 20 spots where you can set your depth to, every 0.1 millimeter. You can have, don't know what you call it, but like say you're going like this and you're making a chamfer along the edge of a board, you can go up to 9 millimeters. It's 82 millimeters wide. It has a break, 1 or 2 seconds. So we will talk about features and stuff later, also how you change the blades. But first we are going to talk about, and what most people are probably going to want to know, is this planer going to replace your corded planer? Also, is what's the runtime and the power like? Power, if you have a 5 amp hour battery and it's fully charged, there's definitely no lack of power. It's a very powerful tool. Runtime, I would say, I haven't done any exact tests, but I'd say on a 5 amp hour you probably get between 10 and 15 minutes, maybe even less than 10 minutes of runtime. Of course you could get a bigger battery, you could get a 6 or an 8 or a 9 or 12 amp hour battery, but with the 5 it's really balanced. And even with the 5, it is pretty much balanced. I'm just holding it with one finger here. So I wouldn't want to put anything bigger than a 5 on this. You can definitely put any battery on it. There is room here to have the 12 amp hour flex volt battery. And I've even run this planer with a 1.5 amp hour battery, but it's not got a lot of power and doesn't last very long with a 1.5 amp hour battery. You have to change the battery after like 2 passes. So is it going to replace your corded planer? No. If you do a lot of planing, this is not going to replace your corded planer. If you do a lot of planing, like every so often I will get this out and I'll have like 20 boards or 10-15 boards, all of which need to have 2 millimeters knocked off all 4 sides. You can't, and like I will plane all the boards on all 4 sides at the same time with no pauses. You can't drain the 5 amp hour battery that fast or it will get really hot. I haven't had thermal timeouts, but it gets so hot you can barely touch it, and I don't think that is very good for the battery. Also, if you're using it a lot, the actual motor gets, it could be the belts, I don't know. It could be the belts or the motor, it could be both. But this area gets really hot. Well, not really hot, but like hot enough that you start to wonder if it's gonna have a thermal timeout. It's not like the old corded Makita my dad has that you can run for a very long time and it's still as cool as when you started. The tool doesn't get too hot though, but if you run it a lot it will get hot, and you will notice that it will be rather warm to the touch, especially on this aluminum. And I think this is aluminum. It feels like aluminum. So if you do a lot of planing like that, like you'll have a bunch of boards and you'll just plane them non-stop, you need to get a corded planer. Don't try to use the cordless, because also you'll chew through batteries. And if you have a plug, then just get a corded. But if you work in the middle of nowhere, of course the cordless is a nice thing to have. I like having the cordless because I can walk anywhere with it, and I can just plane a pass or two. So like when I'm building chicken coops, I may have a little bit of planing I need to do, and it's great to have the cordless. But soon I'm probably going to buy a corded planer to do all the big jobs, and I'll use this for like when I have 1 or 2 passes to do, or I only have a little bit of planing to do. So if you use it all day every day and you have access to a plug, you should buy a corded. But anyway, if you want to get the cordless, I will now talk about the specs and stuff. So starting at the back, there's no rubber supports on this battery, which makes it really nice just to slide on and off there. You can even do it one-handed. The tool for changing the blades is right here. Also, Dewalt is smart when it comes to changing stuff, because it's the same on the angle grinder. You can use an Allen key or the special tool. To change the blades on this, you can use your hex Allen key that is right here and stays on the tool, or you can use this guy, which also comes in the box. You have storage for 2 extra blades in here, which I think that's really nice. It's just got this little plastic cap on it. Nice big air vents. But looking in there, the motor is only about half. It stops at about here. It's only half the width of this. And it looks okay. It looks like a good motor in there. So the dust port comes out the side here. My vacuum fits loosely inside here. Not a very tight fit, so you kind of have to have the Dewalt vacuum if you want to run a vacuum with this, or you'll have to buy the adapter, which I think if you buy the kit with batteries and a charger, you get that adapter, but I'm not sure. Also, I think you get a dust bag if you buy the kit with batteries, but I just bought bare tool, so I didn't get that stuff. 3 screws here that I suppose you could take out if you got this really clogged, but taking those out would probably void your warranty. This side, this black piece comes off with 2 screws, I suppose, to get at your vents. Not vents, belts. Your belts are in there. Well, there's only one belt. On the dust port, if you're pushing it really fast, and also if you have it set to 2 millimeters and maybe you're planing something wide like this, yes, it will clog up, but if you get a stick and poke around in there, it comes out just fine. I hadn't had much trouble with it plugging up. So handle, it's comfortable. It could have been a little lower and a little further back, but it's fine as it is. I really like the safety mechanism on this planer, because rather than having to push something in with your thumb to pull the trigger, you just push down with your thumb and pull the trigger. And you can do it with your other hand. You just have this thing that you just push down. I really like that. It's a lot better than when you have to push the thing in. It is not a variable speed trigger, but you should always run these at full speed anyway. The knob is really easy to adjust. It goes from 0 to 2 millimeters, and it clicks at every 0.1 millimeter. So if you want to do 1.3 millimeters, you can dial it right to 1.3 millimeters. The shoe is nice and long. I kind of like how long this planer is. And up here you do have your chamfer guide. You also have your edge guide, which just goes in here like this, and you loosen that knob, push it through, and then you tighten it back up. It would have been nice to have seen a little nicer knob up here to tighten this. Yeah, it sits square to the shoe. So the edge guide is pretty nice, and they put this piece that covers the blades so that the blades aren't exposed if you're going along the edge. At the back here you have this little plastic shoe. Again, it could have been a little more robust, but it's okay, I guess. How it works is, as you're going along the wood, just flips up, and then when you put it down, you just sort of have to pull it back, and it keeps the blades from hitting the table. So it's a really nice planer. Now we will do some testing. I've had it for 7-8 months now, so I'm gonna change the blades before we do testing. The blades, when you buy it bare tool, it comes with 2 blades ready installed, and I believe when you buy the kit with batteries and stuff, it also comes with 2 more blades back here. So here's what you get in the kit. This is the NT model, which means you just get the tool and the T-stack. This is the larger T-stack. You get your edge guide, your Allen key, planer blades, planer, other wrench, and then you also get this thing, which I'll put in the video what this thing does later. I imagine you could put a second battery or a flex volt battery in there if you wanted. This is for your battery. It does fit. And this is for your charger. You could also put your battery on the planer. But obviously a 10-cell battery is the maximum you can put in there, and there probably isn't enough room for the 6 or 8 amp hour battery, but you could get a 3 or 4 amp hour compact battery, the ones with the 21700 cells in them on it in the box. But it doesn't slide around too much in there, and when you close the lid, it's not going to jump up and down. And this box, you just get the handle in the top. You do not get a handle in the front. But you do get your side handles, and you can have a box clipped on top and open the lid with it clipped on top. So you can hold it like that, or you can hold it like this. I want to make sure it's tight though. When you get to this end, you want to be careful that it doesn't start tearing the end out. So I'm gonna take the edge off this piece of wood. Got it set to 1 millimeter. It's a little hard to keep it exactly 45 degrees, but you kind of just have to hold it at the 45 degrees. Hardest part is when you get to the end here. So we're gonna go along the edge of this board. I forget what it's called when you do this, but first pass is gonna be a 1 millimeter pass. Second pass is gonna be a 2 millimeter pass. It's 35 millimeters wide, fully charged 5 amp hour battery. The one nice thing about using this edge guide is you can push there if you want instead of here. We're now going to do a 2mm pass. Definitely has the power to do it, it's just you have to go a little slower with the 2mm. So that's why for this I'm using the 1mm pass. So to change the blades, you have 3 screws. You can either use your Torx Allen key or your wrench. Don't go putting your impact driver on these. So you just loosen them up. These are a little tight. I don't know which way they turn, so that way. Okay, they're both the same. These 2 nuts are rather tight. Well, it's loose. Loose. And this thing you can use to set the blades. I'm not sure how, but I'm just gonna pull it out like so. You want to be gentle with these things because they are breakable. Maybe just give it a little clean. And yes, these are extremely sharp because they're for cutting wood. Loosen those off a bit. In the manual it said to take this thing right off, but I'm just sliding them out and sliding them back in because I don't want to have to take the whole thing apart. Then line it up so you have even amount on either side. That's good. Then you just need to tighten them up. Not sure how tight you want to make these things, but I'd imagine you want to get them pretty tight. Okay, so it took me about 3 minutes to flip those blades around, and I've never done it before, so definitely an easy to do thing. Now we will get to our testing. We are now going to do testing. We've got a fully charged up 5 amp hour battery. I charged it up 2 weeks ago, but we're going to use it anyway because quite often when I put a brand new fresh battery on a tool, it has been charged up for a couple weeks, but it hasn't been used. It was charged up 2 weeks ago, but it has not been used. Let me just zoom out here a bit. There we go. So we will start. This is just 40 by 60. So softwood, 60 millimeters wide. We're gonna start with 1/2 millimeter. And changing the blades definitely made a difference, because this is what the shavings look like after changing the blades. These are fresh blades. This is what it looked like before changing the blades, because I was using it a bit earlier. Exact same wood, just old blades versus new blades. So now we're gonna do 1 millimeter. Look at the stuff that was coming out of it on the 2 millimeters. This is the before. So, still fully charged. We're gonna grab the other 5 amp hour battery. Which only has about 50% in it. So we're gonna just do a 2 millimeter pass. As you can see, we clogged up because of the stringy stuff. Don't use your finger to unclog it, use a stick. And then just for fun, we're gonna do a 1 millimeter pass. So it's getting a little bit warm back here. Battery is still cold though, because I only did 2 passes with it. Now we're down to 2 bar. Okay. So this is what those few passes made, plus the whole pile on the floor and behind the camera when it clogged up. So if you're going to be using a dust extractor on this, you definitely have to have a big one, because like right here, this would have filled up the little 12 liter I have by now. And you should wear a mask if you're doing a lot of planing, because it does make a lot of dust and it's a lot more comfortable to have a mask on. So conclusion, I really like this tool. If you're in the Dewalt system and you want to get a cordless planer, this is definitely a very handy tool to have. Even if you have a corded planer, and you have the Dewalt batteries, this is a nice thing to have for when you just have that one pass to do. But like I said, if you have a lot of planing, like what I was just doing, like if you're going to be doing that for even like 10 minutes, this thing is going to run through quite a few batteries, so get a corded if you're going to be doing what I was just doing for a long period of time. It does only go to 2 millimeters, whereas the corded ones will go to 4 millimeters. But I don't even really use it on 2 millimeters. I like to do 1 millimeter passes because it doesn't take as much power as doing 2 millimeter passes. So it's a nice tool. Obviously, if you have the Makita batteries, you should buy the Makita brushless planer because it goes 2.5 millimeters deep. But if you have the Dewalt batteries, or even if you're in a platform that doesn't have the cordless planer, this one's a nice planer to get. I will be definitely getting a corded to also have with this one, but I'm glad I have the cordless because now I can, if I have that one pass to do, I can use this one. So, yes, I like cordless tools, but I also like corded tools, and with quite a few of these woodworking tools, I almost think you need to have a corded and a cordless, like planer, palm sander, and stuff. Plus also, to get like just one 9 amp hour flex volt battery for this, and I don't even have a charger that would charge the 9 amp hour in under 3 hours. A 9 amp hour flex volt is the price of a corded Makita, so rather than buying a ton more batteries so I can use this for the really big jobs, I will buy a corded. Now, obviously you need to be careful about nails. I have, well, not me, but other people who have used this for a minute have hit nails, well, not hit nails, but grazed nails on the edge of the blade, and these blades seem to be able to handle a little bit of metal, but they're not made to be chewing through nails and stuff, so make sure you remove the nails before you run your planer along it. But if you do graze a nail with the edge of the blade or even the middle of the blade, you should be fine. If you hit a nail, chances are the blades will shatter. But yeah, it's a nice tool. It's got nice grip, and also it seems to have really nice build quality. Like the handle feels nice and strong. Back here feels strong. This, I believe, is aluminum. At least it feels like aluminum. The base has to either be aluminum or steel. And also you can see it's got a little bit of a pattern on it so that it doesn't slide as easily. Nice big air vents, which I like air vents because it means the tool can breathe. The shoe and the edge guide are a little not what I'd like to see, but I don't use either of those things a lot. Normally I'd have a piece of wood and I just put my planer like that. So check this planer out. It's a good tool. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.